We can knock out sermon series in a couple of days, but that comes from a place before of either being filled up, fueled up, or having been trained up at some point. If you're only expecting output, you'll just run that tank dry and you'll have burnt out creatives.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Church Circle podcast, and I am in studio with Reuben himself. We're in the flesh.
We're in person.
In Sacramento.
Yep.
And I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
He's been wining and dining me. Not so much wine, but a lot of dine.
A lot of dining. Showing him the way the Sacramentonians, that's probably the worst, not the way to say it, the way they do it.
The way they do it. And I got to stay at his mother-in-law's house last night, and they've been so hospitable. I don't feel like I want to leave. I want to stay for church this weekend, but I got to go home. But we're flipping the script this episode. I'm going to be asking Reuben questions. Reuben is always, and I tell him all the time, he does such a great job of hosting the podcast and pulling questions, and I feel like I'm watching a Christian English version of Oprah. But no, he does a great job. And so I was like, man, let me ask you questions, because I think you're interesting, and I think people love you. And
quirky, maybe.
So we're gonna do that. You cool with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I'm glad I'm here on the opposite side of the table this time. So
yeah,
it's exciting, and yeah, I'm just glad we're hanging out, and we have some funny stories about our time together so far, which we've already posted on the circle. So if you want to know more about Brian's weird Airbnb experience, which had other people and dogs involved, then or it's already piqued your interest, then go and check it out on the circle. You can see more about that. But yeah, glad we're here, and maybe I can answer some questions that you don't know about me.
Yeah. So we listen to you all the time, and I'm just interested in your background and what got you into creative church work? Like, what was the beginning?
Yeah, so I grew up in the UK, and I still live in the UK, but I'm just out here seeing family. And that was born in 97, lived on the outskirts of London in a town called Dartford for most of my life, and only recently moved to Norwich in England, which is in the county of Norfolk, and it's one of the most picturesque places in the UK, and one of the most hidden gems. So if you're ever in the UK, visit Norfolk. It's pretty cool. And so I'd always loved making videos, doing stupid things with my friends. We'd record stuff, little sketch videos, whatever it was, just being stupid basically. And got like a video camera, a little waterproof video camera. A Sanyo Exacti was what it was called, a little flip camera, like early teens, like 12, 13 at the time. And just wanted to record everything. So we'd go on vacation with my friends, we'd record stuff on vacation, we'd go to into stores or swimming pools and pull pranks on people, and this little undercover camera would capture it all. And then I was very much inspired by iCarly. Do you remember iCarly?
Yeah.
And they had whatever they uploaded there. I guess the website was called iCarly, and they'd upload all these videos. And so me and my friends made a website called YouWatch. So it was youwatch.biz. That was the website link.
Let's go.
No, it's not still up now. No, I used iWeb on Mac, which is when it won't be on there. I think the domain expired a long time ago.
Man.
And so the iWeb was this Dreamweaver. Do you remember Dreamweaver? It's like the Apple version of that, where you make websites and then you could post it directly to the domain. It was kind of like PowerPoint or Pages or whatever the equivalent is, but it was for website design. So I made this really cool green and orange neon website, and we just upload videos onto there. That's kind of how I got started. Just really enjoyed making videos, and then YouTube came along, so I did some YouTube content as well. Just making stupid videos again.
Yeah.
And so that was around I probably kept doing that in 2012, 2013. And the church I was at the time, they were like, "Oh, you make videos. We'd love for you to piece together some montages of mission trips we've been on, sermon announcements, whatever it was." So I did a few of those, and then it was kind of coming towards the end of my I guess it would be high school. In the UK, you get to we get to year 13. So there's high school, and then we do something called sixth form, which is your kind of pre-college. So before you go to college, university, you got these 2 years of extracurricular. So I kind of finished that, and I was like, do I want to go to university? Do I want to take a gap year? What do I want to do? And my church said, well, why don't you just come and work for us for a year on an apprenticeship program, and you can make videos. So started making videos. This was 2015, and didn't have a clue what I was doing really. I was just making videos for the church. And then it was like, oh, now I need to make thumbnails for the YouTube videos we're posting. Now I need to make some graphics that go in the video. So then graphic design slowly started creeping in. And it got to the point, probably like end of 2015, beginning of 2016, where I was like, I enjoy the design side of things more than I enjoy the video. And the main reason, it sounds kind of crazy, this like changed the trajectory of where I'm going in life, was because I enjoyed listening to music while working. So when you edit video, you can't really do that because it's like, bep, 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 and you're skimming through audio. Whereas with design, you just put headphones on, listen to music. I love music.
I've listened to more music this week. And it's random, like
it's super random.
It could be just starts singing. He's like, he names the band. I'm like, who? I don't even know that.
It can be from rock to rap to jazz, whatever. It could be anything.
Yeah.
And so I love listening to music. So I was like, I can design, I can get this cool stuff made, and I can listen to music at the same time. So that kind of kickstarted my journey. And then fast forward, I met my wife while working at this church, and we decided to get married in 2020, which obviously was COVID year. So I was going to move to California. I was going to move out here, and then COVID messed that up. So then I ended up kind of quitting my job, ready to move to California. And then that all kind of fell through. So we moved Meg and my wife to the UK. But at that point, I'd already started my freelance business. This was middle of COVID. And so now I'm just been carrying that on, and God's blessed it. And he's taken me on an incredible journey, which just brings me to this desk right now. Chatting to people about church creative stuff and creative stuff in general. So, yeah,
it's just a testament to just keep on pursuing your passion, and God opens doors. It's cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel called to podcasting, or did it find you?
I just enjoy chatting.
Yeah.
One of the things that my old pastor did at church was, if you were on staff, it wasn't a massive church, but if you were on staff you would be involved in one of the services at some point in like the calendar. So it would be like a 4-month rota, and at some point you would take part in either preaching or hosting the service, or doing the offering, like the giving slot, whatever it was. And one of the things I kept getting put forward for was the hosting of the service. So I'd like kind of be the guy who gets up and talks about what's coming up, and I think I kind of shot myself in the foot, because I ended up kind of having to learn how to mediate conversations and keep talking.
Yep.
And so then that just led me to what we're doing now, which is basically mediating conversation. Yeah. But then I get to talk about things I'm passionate about. So I don't have to talk about men's breakfasts anymore, which is nice. I get to talk about creative stuff. So yeah, it kind of started off with just learning to have to talk, and maybe some video stuff that I did in the past helped with that. And now I just enjoy talking to creative. And other people working in the church. So if there is something that I can talk about, and you can put a microphone in front of my mouth, then I will talk about it, and I enjoy that.
Get him talking about Formula One.
Don't start.
Can you name the last 20 years of championships?
Yes, I can, but I won't do that. I won't bore you.
They won't even. Most of them are going to be like, I don't know what he's talking about. But it is impressive. I heard him do it like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it was the. I don't even know this question's going to come up. It was the hidden talent question.
Yeah. And
that was what I decided what my hidden talent was. So maybe that can be an exclusive thing we do on the circle at some point. But I don't want to bore you on the main podcast by talking about Formula One champions.
All right, what's your go-to coffee order?
Well, this has been a debate on my Instagram stories recently. If you follow me on Instagram, you may know about my iced tea conversation. Starbucks in the UK, for some reason, refuses to make iced black tea. Now, if you're American, you'll be shocked, gobsmacked. You go anywhere, you can get a sweet iced tea, unsweet iced tea. In the UK, which is the home of tea, which you guys threw in the harbour in Boston, you should know all about this. Yeah. I go into Starbucks and I say, can I have an iced tea? And they go, oh, I'm sorry, we've only got peach or green. And I go, okay, can I have an iced black tea? No, sorry, we can't do that. So I put it on my stories, and everyone was like, what do you mean? So I had to end up having to order hot black tea and a cup of ice and doing it myself. Anyway, that's been a whole thing. So one of my things I like to order is black iced tea where available. And I've recently been getting into coffee. I'm not a big coffee guy, but I do like drinking coffee the European way, especially after now we've got 2 kids, very young. So I drink espresso. So I'll have a double espresso, most of the time around 12 or 1. Just a little quick knockback and carry on with my day. And sometimes, depending if I'm going to a coffee shop and I feel like I need to drink something more substantial, I drink a cortado or a flat white, or I think today I had a Gibraltar, which I think is very similar to a cortado. So it's basically 50% milk, 50% coffee. So it's basically espresso with a little bit of milk. So,
All right. So you guys know his order now. So send it his way. Find out.
maybe I should do a little. I don't know.
Like,
Can you
what
do a
is it?
Starbucks?
Yeah.
There's a chain called Weatherspoons in the UK, which is like a national chain of pubs, and there's this Facebook group called like Weatherspoons Order or something, and you send a picture and you put your table number in, and then people will just order stuff to your table,
Dude.
and so people get like 3 cups of milk, or and so like it's a thing. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll do a Weatherspoons thing one day.
Dude, that'd be cool if we could just like send, if like randomly on a Monday, we're like, man, I bet you Reuben's having a rough day. I could just send you a coffee. That'd be
Yeah,
sweet.
the only trouble is I live in the middle of nowhere,
Oh.
so there's no Deliveroo or anything
Bummer.
like that.
Well,
British life.
Somebody develop an app, somebody develop a company, and let's make it happen.
Okay, yeah, I'll be an investor.
What is your most used app on your phone?
Todoist.
To-do list.
Todoist.
Todoist. And what do you... like,
So I've been experimenting with productivity. I don't want to be the productivity guy because I feel like we're burnt out on that on Instagram and stuff. But I was using Motion for a while. I was using Sorted, and I was using a few other different apps, and nothing ever really clicked for me. I used Notion as well, so Motion with the M and Notion with the N. And I tried different things, and I was like, I just need something that's really easy. I can throw a task in there. So if I have clients that send me something, I can just throw it into the calendar. I can move it around. I can change how long it's going to take me, and it's really easy and quick. And I just found Todoist, and I was like, this works for me.
Yeah.
So now I use it on my phone and my desktop, and I just, at the start of every week, I just see what tasks are coming my way. I throw them in there, and I can just move them around. Like, again, parent of 2 kids, I need to be adaptable to and a lot of my tasks get moved to the next day and then the next day, so it needs to be easy to do that. So
is there one that's not like a bit? Is there like one that's more of like a social? I mean, besides Instagram, or for fun? Like, is there a Formula?
There's one called Grid Rival, which is like fantasy. You know, like you do like football fantasy and stuff. It's so you have your team, you manage your team, you choose how many races. So it's up to 5 races. You get 4 drivers or 5 drivers and 1 team you get to pick, and then the value goes up or the value goes down, and the idea is that you want to have the most points based on their performance in the races that you have them on.
So this is Formula One.
Yeah, it's Formula One. Yeah, so Grid Rival is probably the only thing I really do as well. And if let me know if you're a Formula One fan, drop me a DM on Instagram. We have a group chat going, and you can get you plugged into that rival league as well. So yeah.
Let's go. I would lose for sure because I don't know anything about that.
Well, you can try.
But I could try.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Gotta
going to
get
crush
started
me.
somewhere.
It'd make you feel real good.
I am the
Just be
reigning champion
dominating.
on Grid Rival right now, I will admit, but there's only like 5 of us, so it's not really a massive achievement.
Okay, this next question. What is something people assume about you that isn't actually true?
Going back to sports, being from the home of Premier League football,
Yeah,
rugby,
you told me one time that
cricket.
the soccer rules were formed like...
Yeah, in
close
Cambridge.
to
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you're
not
at.
far from where we are.
You were like, I can take you there.
Parker's Peace, which is a place in Cambridge where we stay sometimes. There's a little hotel there. That is where football originated from. Soccer football, the real football.
Yeah.
The one that you kick with your foot and it's round, football, not hand egg. And so we got rugby, cricket, football, lots of other British sports that I have no interest in.
You just... No.
Yeah, so I feel...
Never had interest in it?
World Cup. I watch the World Cup.
Yeah.
I might watch like the
Like
Euros.
you can get excited about the big things, but it's just like, you don't follow it on the daily.
I feel like it's probably the same for most people, most guys especially, is like you have you have capacity for one sport that you follow closely, and so mine would be Formula One, but motorsport in general I try and keep tabs on.
Okay, this next question, I didn't ask you this before, but
Yeah.
what is one daily or weekly rhythm that helps you stay grounded or healthy?
One thing I'm doing at the moment, which I've found really healthy, is, well, just helpful to me, is waking up before my kids do. So Sunday evenings, I'll plan my week out. So I try and, like, once the kids have gone to bed, I will get on Todoist, and I will just have all my tasks, and I'll just try and organise what my week looks like, whether I've got meetings, whether I'm going to be out for a certain part. I'll organise all that stuff. That's my Sunday night. And then try and wake up and just have an hour or 2 to myself, whether that's devotional, listening to the Bible, getting ready, just having a shower, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that just puts me in a better mental state for when my kids are awake, because then it's like, okay, now we can...
It's like you almost got a few things off your list, like a few things like, all right, check that off, check that off.
Like starting a
You're
Monday
winning.
with your kids awake before you, when it's happened to me, I'm always on the back foot, and then I start work later, then I'm like in a rush, and I don't want to start the week on the back foot.
And I don't know how you feel, but sometimes I almost get like a little bit more frustrated with the kids because it's like I should have got stuff done already.
Yeah. I mean, you've got 5 kids, so I don't even know how you do it.
Well, my wife does a lot of it, and then I help when I can.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's good. And you're also like you were telling me about like reverse osmosis drink. You drink water. And it's filtered. I mean, everybody drinks water, but I'm just saying, like,
well, I don't want to get too far into it because everyone's got different opinions on this. But my wife's very crunchy. If you know what that term is, then you will probably know what that means to be crunchy. If you don't, it's just being aware of chemicals or bacteria or whatever it is in various products. So microplastics, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to preach to you guys about stuff like that because you make your own decisions on stuff like that. But one of the things I do drink is filtered water, reverse osmosis.
He likes paper straws.
No, I like plastic straws. Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday.
What was the thing you were mentioning about the shakes that
we get? We have very limited burger options in the UK, so don't judge me. But I get Five Guys if we're in the UK. Very expensive for what it is. But one of the things we get is a bacon and vanilla shake. Yes, they blend up bits of bacon into the shake, but we use paper straws, and so 3 sips in, the bacon is now like blocking the floppy straw.
Yeah.
And just bring back the plastic straws. Let's do this. How about this? Let's all compromise here.
Yeah.
Paper lids.
Okay.
Plastic straws. Let's just switch them out.
Yeah.
Because
we can do that.
What will the lid go soggy?
How often is the lid getting water on it?
Exactly. So let's do paper lids, plastic straws.
Yeah.
We haven't changed anything really, but we've made our lives better.
Yeah, for sure.
So there you go.
Okay. We talked a little bit about this in the car, and I'm not going to go like if you have $5 million, but if you had a week off, with no kids, what would you go do?
No kids,
week off. No
anything else.
You can do anything you want.
Unlimited funds. I'd bring the kids with me, actually.
Okay.
Can I do that?
You're a good dad.
I would, and because I want them to experience this.
Yeah, and
I would.
Is it Formula 1?
No, it's not Formula 1. I would get an Audi RS6 or a big family wagon with a big engine, and I would drive probably from the top of Scotland, and I'd drive all the way down to the bottom of Italy, and just carve my way through, and do it in a week. Maybe I'd wait till the kids are a little bit older. Maybe if they're this age now, I'd go by myself.
They wouldn't remember it at this age.
But when they're like early teens or like 10 years old or whatever, I feel like that would be fun.
Yeah.
Road trips I find really fun. Seeing lots of different countries in the space of a week is really fun.
Yeah.
So I'd do
Scotland
to France through Belgium, Germany, Switzerland, down into Italy, and then down to the bottom of Italy and back up again.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
What would you do along the way? Are you stopping? Are you seeing sights?
The roads from Switzerland onwards, well, from Germany actually, are enough to enjoy.
Yeah.
But then everything else in between, stop at towns overnight.
Well, just spending 24 hours with you, I know you're going to know pretty much every local food place to stop at, and be like, we got to try that. We got to try that. That's one thing. Like, I'm a third child, so I'm always like, I don't care where we go. Like, because I've never had a choice in my life. Like, my brothers or my mom or everybody else chose. I'm just like, sure, let's do it. So, but Reuben, he wants to try some things.
When Brian came here, for example, we're in Sacramento. I don't know if we mentioned that. I was like, what? Brian is from the land of barbecue.
Yeah.
From good Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex and barbecue.
So why would I try and get him to try stuff that's that? Because it's not going to be as good. So what can I introduce in California that I've had that's much better than the UK? So sushi, Asian food tends to be better here. So
it was great.
He's going to try sushi soon.
I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
There's good sushi in San Antonio, but it's too expensive, so I don't go get it.
And you're far away from the ocean, so can you trust it?
Like, my brother loves sushi, and he raves about it, and I get it, but I just had too many bad experiences, and so I'm willing to try it, and I'm willing to be converted, but I'm not going to hold my breath, honestly.
Okay, well, maybe we can get
an
exclusive review once he's tried it.
On my stories.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, what is one thing that you are learning? And I want to kind of get into almost like culture and talking through church stuff a little bit, because I'm interested in your take on things. I think that you have a capacity and a good head on your shoulders that you're able to look into and look at situations inside of the church realm, because you've been around it, and give great advice. And so when talking,
sometimes
I don't know. I think you're pretty wise. You serve under. I think John Norman is such a he came to Pearl Street when I was at Pearl Street,
Yeah.
and the guy's just spits leadership. Like he loves Jesus, loves the Lord, knows how to build a church, and just spits leadership lessons and axioms and all these things. So based on your experience running a creative team or being a part of a team, what do you wish more people knew about creatives and leading creatives?
We've had this conversation a lot on the podcast before. Matthew Creative, Matthew Powell, Angel and Carrie Acevedo, who are
great episodes.
Yeah, that's a really good episode.
Yeah.
And Sally Galori, who is a few seasons back. So we had a few creative directors or comms managers and stuff like that on there, and a lot of the common conversation that comes up in these things, and I completely agree with this, is kind of the work of a manager or a leader or a comms director or whatever it is very little to do with the output, like what you produce, and a lot of it to do with people management and understanding relationships and understanding creatives. And I think one of the things that gets not swept under the rug, but gets kind of left behind in the church creative world specifically, is the process of getting to the output takes time.
Yeah.
And so we can knock out sermon series in a couple of days, but that comes from a place before of either being fueled up, or having been trained up at some point.
Yeah.
And so you've got to allow at some point in the process to do those things, to train young people, to learn yourself, to upskill yourself, to fuel yourself as well. So like what creative stuff are you taking in, and then to be filled up as well as spiritually. Like having those things checked off will lead to good creative stuff. Yeah. But if you're only expecting output, you'll just run that tank dry and you'll have burnt out creatives. And a lot of this, we talked about this before on the podcast, a lot of this is emotional stuff as well. Like I'm not a very emotional person particularly, but there's still a part of what I do and create that comes out of what I am and who I am. Yeah. And so when you give feedback as a leader or as a comms director or whatever your role is, a lot of that is, you're feeding back to the person and what they've created out of what they are. And so you have to walk that sensitively. You can't just, it doesn't look good. Yeah. And then the person's like, well, this is my expression of what I think about this particular thing. And so you have to walk that gently, and you have to be like, hey, I know you put a lot of effort into this. I just don't think this fits what we're doing. Or like, you don't have to tread lightly on that kind of stuff. But it all comes down to relationships. So if you've built a good enough relationship with your team, and this is that 10% of output, 90% people management. Yeah. If you spend all your time just learning about the person, you're going to be able to give that feedback well, because you know what makes them tick, you know what they enjoy, you know what kind of effort and where it comes from that they're putting into their work. And then you can feed back into that and not just like cut them off and be like, this is terrible. Yeah. And so my advice would be, and this isn't from me as a leader, because I wouldn't say I did a great job at leading creative teams, but I would say this is as a creative, is understanding the people that you work with, focusing more on that than the output, using those quiet seasons. Let's say you've just come out of Christmas. Okay, well, let's try and use that quiet season. Or let's say you've just come out of the May madness. Yeah. Let's use that quiet season that's next to just build relationships, focus maybe less on output in that time and just on how you can build relationships with your team, so that when you go into the next busy season, the next push season, you're much better equipped. Like sometimes I don't think creatives just need to put their feet up and take a break. Yeah. Sometimes they do, but I don't think they always need that. Sometimes they need to have that relationship side of things. Yeah. That it's more than just a person pushing stuff out and a robot. It's like an actual human being who feels and thinks things and gets burnt out.
Yeah, I had somebody tell me once in leadership, and I think it's you. Everything you said right there is for young creative directors or directors that are struggling possibly with creating momentum on their teams and having issues with giving feedback to their teams. I think people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think for me, leading creative teams, half of my job was or actually more than half of my job was really just getting to know the person I was working with. So I was regularly going to movies that I wasn't really interested in, going to dinner with people, and I was going more to spend time with somebody rather than, I'm not strategically sitting there going, I'm developing a relationship so I can pull something out of the sky later. No, it's just like, I'm interested. I love you. We're working together. And so to lead a creative team, if you're not doing that, if you're just you're punching the clock at 5 p.m. to go home because you're ready to be with your family, I get it. I have young kids, but there are times where it's so important whenever you're not in that busy season where, hey, let's go to a movie on Friday night. And you take time to spend time with those that you're leading and you're doing life together. And I always used to tell, my team, I'm like, look, if we're not having fun, like, so part of the fun is like doing life together and going to dinner and going to the movies and doing whatever activity. And I'm telling you, people to this day will say, man, I love you. You're like the best leader I ever had. And it's just because I intentionally spent time with people. And it wasn't always about getting the deadline done, because there's times when you're coming back and you're going, hey, man, this is not really fitting the vision. And it's the same thing even with vocalists, like musicians and vocalists too. Like worship leaders have to deal with this too, because like if you're telling somebody like, hey, your vibrato is you're holding that a little too long, or you're like your style doesn't really match, like you're more of a traditional singer and we're trying to do this, to be able to say that to somebody, it's vocal, that's your vocal cords, that's your tone. Like how do you tell somebody that? And I think a lot of times we just want to just sometimes just try to cut corners and just try to pull things out of people, and you're like, well, you haven't really deposited enough in my life. So you're hitting it on the head. I think that's extremely important. So
one thing I would say as well is a little like just came to my mind as an activity or an exercise you can do with your team is go to your nearest downtown, wherever it is, your nearest city or town, and go with your team like, I don't know, 9 a.m. to lunchtime and get lunch afterwards. And just walk around and go into stores and see what they pick out. And like, I like in antique stores. I think that always sparks conversation. Just walk around with them, like maybe a couple people, maybe I don't know, break off into groups. I don't know. And walk around and just be like, okay, what do you like about this? And like just chat about stuff, and you'll find out one, their interests, what they do and don't like, but also what like makes them creatively tick. Because they'll look at things and be like, oh, I like how they did that. And so you kind of get to see how they operate outside of the office. And so that's a good one. I like doing that on my own as well.
I learned about you collect maps yesterday at the antique store.
Well, not collect, but
you like maps.
I like maps. I like old
maps,
travel guides and stuff. I would try and go into places like when we're in different countries and stuff. I would try and go to those places.
And that wouldn't have been a normal conversation that I would have had with you. So that's a prime example of like we just went into random stores and I learned something about you.
You just find out. You're walking around and getting outside. And, give it a go.
What is something that you've learned through failing in leading, maybe leading a creative team, or leading something out?
I'm not by any means. I wouldn't even consider myself a leader, if that makes sense. I think you can come from the argument of everyone's a leader. Blah blah blah. But in terms of like, I wouldn't consider myself to be a leader of people. I did lead a team at one point, a creative team for a few years, and I think I didn't do a very good job, to be honest. Like I think I focused a lot on output. It goes back to that conversation. I focused so much on output. We created cool things for the limited resource. I mean, you should have seen, we had a 21.5 inch iMac, and if you guys know, it's got the 5400 RPM drive. That thing is slower than slow. But we were producing good videos and good graphics on a team of two people and a couple of volunteers at the start, and we had no clue what we were doing, but we produced, I think, pretty good stuff for the time. But then it was just, I felt like I was always pulling favors from friends that I worked with. And it was like I had friends, we worked together, they're still my good friends today, and I get to chat to them and stuff. But I wasn't leading them. I was pulling favors. And so when it came to like rotoring them for stuff or making sure they were volunteering for the right things at the right time, I was like, hey, sorry I've left this super last minute, but can you be? And like I didn't give them an opportunity to step up into leadership. I didn't give them the chance to like plan their week properly because I was sporadic. And so I think if I could go back to that time, and this is probably an age thing, at the time I was like 20, maybe I might have even started in my teens. I think I did. I think I was like 18. I just assumed we were just all having a good time all the time. But actually one of the things that I could have done a lot better was just plan and organize things and give people some guidelines and some structure that would help them succeed. I think I was just pulling favors and having a laugh, and those are important.
That's fun.
It's about building relationships as well. And I think I built good relationships, but then I used those good relationships to cover over my lack of
preparation,
structure. So that's what I would say.
I think I think that's like a common, like, especially for creatives. It's like we almost need that admin person in our lives to like. I mean, your father-in-law actually mentioned this to me. He was like, I have somebody just to schedule my meetings because he's a creative guy. And so for me, I think, I had to have somebody come alongside me because my brain's up here. My brain's vision and relationship and bringing people into that. But the daily task of like, hey, you said last week that you wanted to have this vision meeting. I'm like, yeah, I said that, and I never wrote it down.
Yeah.
So I always had somebody that if the moment I thought something, I'm like, hey, can you make sure you schedule this for me? And I'm telling you, I got 100. I 10x my productivity.
So we're all looking for. We're all looking for the 10x.
10x.
Yeah. I think as well though, there is a flip side to that of like that doesn't. I'm not saying this is you, but that shouldn't excuse you from trying to be better at organization, because I think teams fill in gaps for where you're weak, but that doesn't mean that you should be empty in that gap, if that makes sense. It's like we're still trying to like that's what I could have done better. I'm not an organized person. If anyone's ever worked with me, I really try. But there's, especially on the just shout out to the Church Media Squad people when it comes to like the podcast stuff. They are very graceful with my
they get it done.
Fluidity, should I say, in terms of how I work. And so I would just say like the thing that I'm trying to do is, okay, how can I organize my life better so I'm a better person to work with? And I don't think we should excuse ourselves from that question based on our personality. So if you're a very organized individual, great, but how can you practice being more flexible? And vice versa, if that makes sense.
It is a balance, because the other side of it too, though, is when you understand that about yourself, and especially if you're working in a church context, this role that I created inside the creative team didn't exist. And it gave that person purpose.
Sure.
She is fueled. She finds joy in making sure that there is a plan. I do not. And so it's almost like it's not that we just write it off and go, we never planned, we never organized or whatever. No, you have to learn to, especially as you get older, you're just like, I need to be organized. But it also gives somebody some, I always talk it gives a piece of the pie. It gives them something to go, because I gave my gift, like the creative team is running so much better. And I recognize that. It's like, I'm not fueled by that, and I'm okay to release some of the, she doesn't do all my stuff, but a lot of the stuff where it's just like, hey, make sure I make this a regular thing. Like, don't let me forget that I say every 3 months that I want to have a creative brief or something, whatever it is. So, what's a hidden talent? What's a hidden talent? You got to tell us.
Well,
I'm not going to make you do it, but I know your hidden talent.
I feel like I should do it now.
I don't want to put you on the spot.
I won't do it because I'm just gonna I will look stupid. But
let's just say if we get enough comments and likes, let's do it that way. Okay, if we get enough,
I'll do. Yeah,
you'll do it.
I can percussively tap my mouth. If you picture the Mona Lisa, that I can do that. But I can make tunes with that. So think of it as like, do you remember like?
I've seen him do it.
Yeah, remember like Avicii and all the 2014 music?
Yeah.
It's basically sounds like that. Yeah, like that. But I can do songs. You give me a request and I can do it. So maybe we'll do a request.
You request a song.
I just feel like I'm just gonna give people an image to just clip. So that's my hidden talent, and it will remain hidden until
you can clip my image. I don't care. Clip it. Do something.
I'll clip it now. So there you go.
When you're not doing, I got to witness Reuben's process yesterday. We were at a coffee shop and he was designing
very sporadically.
It was a coloring book. Is that what was it for?
No, this was a season kit, like
kit for a
sermon
church.
series.
You showed me the coloring book. So if you're not doing that, what are you doing? What are you doing outside of work to not ground yourself, but just how are you escaping like the pressure and the stress of all that?
I've had to really and I don't want to be the parent. No, every conversation I ever have goes back to having kids. But it's a huge part of your life. When you have a child, you will understand that it's a huge part of your life, obviously. But it comes back to like before BC, before children. I would. That's
a good one.
There you go.
I have not heard
thought of that one on the spot. There you go. Before children, it was like I could just grind. If I needed to get something done, I would stay up late. And I've had to really just go, okay, the people I work with, most of them have families. I now have a family. The biggest, most creative project I'll ever work on in my life is my children, and they have priority over my work. And so if I can't get this done tonight before I put the kids to bed, or like before we have dinner or whatever it is, then I have to be okay with just letting that go. And I think that's been the biggest grounding thing I've had to do is, if I don't make a post on Instagram today, if I don't get it out like today, we're recording today, so I'm not going to get it out properly today. That's okay. I'll just post tomorrow. And if I've had to let a lot of things go. My first year of Instagram, or like my first couple of years, I would I would stop the car if it was 6 p.m. and I would post and then carry on driving. It was the momentum that I'd built. I can't stop this. Now it's like, just post again tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, like, it is what it is. Same for like, you know, I try and be on time with my clients, but I'm also now a young parent, so if I can't get it to you, I will let you know. Hopefully there's grace for that, and I will also try and put work in when there's grace needed for the client. So yeah, I would say that's why I've grown. I've just been okay with having tasks left over at the end of the day and then move them on. Like, my capacity is not what it was because my capacity is taken up with something else, and that's okay.
And it's well worth it.
Yeah.
It's like I told a lot of creative directors, it goes back for me, it's identity. It's like sometimes when you put too much identity in what you're doing, it's like that trumps everything.
Yeah.
So when I was in my early 20s, it was just like I was working 60 to 80 hours at my dad's church, trying to make my dad's dreams come true. Like, my dad wanted to plant a church, and I got this like work ethic, like, Dad, I'm going to work real hard, you know? And sometimes if you put your identity in it, you will not prioritize your family.
Yeah.
It's like, and so I remember missing, I'm not going to say I wasn't at my children's things, but I wasn't present because I was so concerned about getting that next thing done, or the project that we were doing, or we're building a stage design at the church. And so I'm at my daughter's birthday party, but really my mind's back at solving all the issues.
Yeah.
And it comes back to like just having your priorities straight, you know, and having somebody speak into your life and just kind of correct you on that. And like, hey, I wish, and I didn't have this, and I think I'm truthfully saying this, I wish I had a community like Church Circle back when I was running at the pace I was running.
Yeah.
Because it would have been somebody saying, hey, it's okay to just slow down for a moment. Like, you're going to get it done. Like, just because the blue is not the perfect blue or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And so I think I would have leaned on this community a lot more. And so shout out to Church Circle. Like, we're building something that we need this kind of like accountability, but network of people that have been doing it, so that way they can just call us out and say, look, I get it. Or maybe call us out when we're like, no, you've been slacking a little too much.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the relationship thing. Like,
Yeah.
I think social media in general has lost its relationship touch. I think like 2020, when everyone suddenly was on Instagram, it was really fun. It was like, oh, we're all like, we're doing Instagram lives and stuff, and it just, people got burnt out and they faded away. And you know, how do you maintain relationships in a platform that people aren't interested in? Like, I mean, Instagram is still interesting, but I think people go on there, they scroll through reels, they like a few things, and then they're on to the next thing. Like, it's part of their day, but it's like a filler piece. I don't think you maintain a lot of relationships through Instagram, and so we've been trying to cultivate a way to have relationships, to have like times where we're actually speaking to each other, like on a video call and live streams and stuff, and to make it a bit more intentional so that people actually are building relationships more than just, you know, a DM. Yeah. And so we've got, you know, people from Philippines, people from India, people from the US, from the UK, and, you know, I'm meeting people in the UK that, you know, getting to chat to them that I would never have known, but they connected through the circle, which I guess we consider like a US thing. Yeah. And we're back to, so like we're all, it's like a global thing, but we're all able to connect almost nationally or locally just based on this platform that is cutting out the noise. So it's I've been enjoying it, and it's been fun. And
it's partially why I'm here. We're really talking, and we're not going to be announcing anything specifically, but we are talking about just how do we really cultivate those connections and those relationships in this next season to really amplify specifically that, like walking along somebody. Like we really want Church Circle to be something where you're not doing your staff, you're not, that position you hold is not, you're not doing it alone. Like you have people that are truly walking alongside of you, and not just in, you know, clubhouses or whatever, but we're really looking at ways to tighten that up and provide that, you know, environment in that community where it's like, dude, if you're walking through something, like message your group, like message those people that you're doing life with. And so more to come in the future as we dream, and Reuben are dreaming about that, and looking forward to this next season for sure. But
yeah, it's cool. And that's one thing I'm excited about, is just being able to go deeper with relationships. That seems a very like Christianese thing, like but I just mean it's in like being able to spend time with people. Like one of my favorite things to do is just catch up on FaceTime with like a few of my friends who are all over the world, you know, like just a couple of people like Matthew Creative, Edward Sun, like Austin plus Scott, like people that will just jump on a FaceTime and just catch up. And I'm not doing it to build connection for like business or anything like that, doing it because I would just get to chat with them. Like I got to
Yeah.
meet Matthew in London last year, and we got to walk around like museums and stuff and get to chat. And like we're here now, and
Yeah.
you know, I would say half of our time has just been hanging out and
Hanging
getting
out.
to know each other. So
Yeah.
that's what we want to build. We want to build connection with people
Yeah.
beyond the, you know, what your title is. I think it's not necessarily a network of creative people or a network of pastors. It's like we're all serving the church in some capacity.
Yeah.
And how can we connect you with people that do similar things to you, have similar experiences, but you can actually build friendships with them so they can walk alongside you in tough moments and in good moments.
Yeah.
And so it's been really fun.
If you've heard my kind of background, like I was at my dad's church and I was planning 4 songs on a weekend, or 3 to 4 songs depending on the weekend, and scheduling that and then scheduling volunteers. But I had a pastor mentor, started mentoring my dad, but then started mentoring us on staff as well. And he told me, like, you know, he went around the room and just said, hey, what are the top priorities that you're working on this week? And I just basically said, I'm doing the set list and I'm scheduling people and making sure they show up on Thursday. And this guy, he's a leadership guy. He's still my mentor to this day. I talk to him probably once a year at this point now. But he looked around the room and he came back to me and said, Brian, if that's all you're doing this week, I wouldn't be able to hire you on my staff. I hire leaders. I want people to be able to build teams. And you know, he just gave me some encouragement, and just it wasn't rude, and I received it. And from that meeting, I'm telling you, I went on this leadership journey where through his mentorship, through God doing stuff, you know, in my heart and helping me grow and reading some books and putting structures and systems into place, you know, I saw the value of community. I saw the value of somebody being able to speak directly into my life, that I'm giving them the authority to speak and allow them to kind of cut me a little bit, sharpen me, is the Christian word. And I'm telling you, it's like my life was changed. Like I became something I was not, and it was only through community. It was only through, you know, having somebody that I could trust and rely on, and that has been further than I have been speaking in my life. And I'm telling you, my department, not only did my department grow, and for the church staff out there, your salary will increase. It might not be what the world is paying, but you know, it will increase because you become more effective and you're able to attract more people to your teams, and that alone will, you know.
Yeah.
Long story short, like that is the beauty of community. That's what Church Circle, like that's where I want it to. I want Church Circle to be a place where when you come in, like the impact of the group that you're walking with, like the circle is so tangible. It's like, I don't want to miss the next thing, the next clubhouse,
Sure.
the next hot seat, the next whatever we're doing, because it's that valuable to you.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, like even in my own, like mine's slightly different because it's like, I wouldn't say it's like leadership based or like speaking, but the connection just of like when we were looking at moving back to the UK, very long story short, we couldn't get to the US because of COVID, so we ended up moving to the UK. But I was now like not kind of tied to anywhere, and we wanted to choose somewhere that we thought was an appropriate place to live based on a God list that we'd written of like, has to be 2 and a bit hours away from the airport, we want to be near the coast. Like we just prayed about this list, and one of the things was a church. And through Instagram, I'd found out about Soul Church, what they were doing, and this is maybe like 3 years before, and I followed John Norman, the pastor, and followed Soul Church. And then we go to visit one Sunday, and I had 2 connection moments. One with a guy called Lee, and we walked in, and he was like, hey man, like basically like just beelined. And we're just like getting chatting. He was like, oh, it's really cool you're here, like glad you're visiting. Like no pressure to like of anything, just wanting to get to know me. Go into the main auditorium for like the worship center, and like getting ready to like worship. It was maybe like 5 minutes before the service started, and this guy called Sam, who was just on the podcast, just beelines and like sits next to me the whole service and just chatting to me. And like it was like I'd never experienced that connection where someone was just interested because I was there.
Yeah.
And like no one knew me. No one, like there was nothing like at my own whole old church. It was like everyone knew me because I was there. But like I was just a random stranger with my wife, and we just visited for the first time. But there was 2 people that made that connection. And then like, you know, I had people texting me after saying like, or messaging me on Instagram saying, oh, thanks so much for coming. Like, and it was just like that connection had been built.
Yeah.
And I think what I'd love to see Church Circle is someone walks in for that first time, digitally or whatever, to an event, and like immediately the conversation struck, and you know exactly who to pair them with, and like that relationship network just builds. That convinced us to move our entire lives to like 2 hours away from where I grew up.
Wow.
And through the church, we were able to find a house to rent. and a place to live. And, you know, like just from those two conversations and one Sunday morning we were visiting, our entire trajectory of our life completely changed.
Wow.
And that is the power of those connection moments.
Power of community, yeah.
And so like you never know building those connections. And I think this is the thing. Don't build connections for what you can get out of them.
Exactly.
Just know that when you build a connection, it will be good for something.
Yeah.
And it will, if anything, it will just be good for you to have those people around you. But you never know where that can take you. Like you said, like, you know, a pastor may increase their income or something, but also the opportunities that come their way, or the things you might learn from a senior designer. If you're a creative, like who's 5 years down the road, what can they teach you that will get you a head start? Yeah. So there's so many things that you can do through connection, but just having a place to do that is kind of what we're trying to do here.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, that's all I have, man.
You guys have been listening to the Church Circle podcast. Thank you so much for joining us in person here in Sacramento at Bayside Studios, and we will see you for another episode of the Church Circle podcast shortly. And if you are wanting that connection and wanting that time with some of us and just getting to know people in the church space, whether you're a pastor, a volunteer, a staff member, a creative, come and join Church Circle at churchcircle.com. We would love to see you there, and we've got plenty of events and fun things to get involved in. If you've enjoyed this podcast, leave a like. Leave a comment if this is on YouTube. If you're Apple Podcast or Spotify, feel free to leave us a rating on the podcast, and that just helps us reach more people. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you guys again soon.